By the end of last week's Parsha, something dramatic happened. The Jews had gone to war. Now, there were skirmishes before, perhaps the war against Amalek. There was the battles that were avoided in Bishalach. But now we've gotten real close to the land of Israel. There were nations that we asked permission to go by, like Edom. And there were nations that came to fight us in order to stop us. Unfortunately for them, we conquered their lands. This week's Parsha really tells us about the aftermath of those battles. Other nations around are afraid. Now, to really understand what was going on, at least from our perspective, there are two different types of nations which exist, or which occupy the area. One type of nation, we can call them very simply the children of Shem. The other type of nation are the children of Ham, or more specifically, the Canaanites, or the various Canaanite nations. The land of the Canaanites, of the Canaanim, is the land which is destined to come to the children of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That's the land that was promised. On the other hand, these other nations, I'll call them children of Avraham, those are the nations that had really no reason to be afraid, because we were not going to take their land. When this week's Parsha begins, two of those nations, Moab and Midian, the commentaries point out that the hatred of the Jews brings about an understanding between these two nations who otherwise could not have gotten along. But they have something in common, Moab and Midian. Moab comes from the family of Lot. Now, if we remember all the way back in Parashat, Lot couldn't stay with Avraham, and he chose to take this other land. He chose to leave and to take his possessions, take his flock, and move away from Avraham. Moab is the child of Lot. Who's Midian? Midian is actually the son of Avraham Avinu himself. We're told later on in Parasha that Avraham had other children, and these children also were told to go and move away and move off to the east. Which means that these two nations, Moab and Midian, who are not sitting in the lands of Canaan, have nothing to worry about. They're going to be safe. But they don't believe it. Their hatred and their jealousy of Israel, and now this is particularly strange, this is not the kind of hatred which perhaps would have been historical between the children of Ham and the children of Shem. But it seems to be a lot of the hatred that we have are from the same family. It is from Amalek, who comes from Esav, who comes from Avram and Yitzchak. It is from Moab. It is from Midian. These are all people who are part of the same family. But what's interesting about Moab and Midian is that they seem to have a sense that if we're going to defeat the children of Avraham, we need to find somebody else who has the same kind of spiritual power like Avram had. Whoever blesses Avram will be blessed. Whoever curses Avram will be cursed. And they have to be careful. And when they end up finding somebody, we're never quite sure about what kind of power he actually had. And that's Bilam. His PR people say that he can bless and he can curse, and he has ability, and he's a seer, and he is somebody who can see, and he's a prophet, and he has all kinds of power. As the text goes along, and there's some comical parts where God does not come to him as easily as he would like, and God does not tell him what he would like, and even his donkey can see things which he can't necessarily see. And in the end, he wants to curse, but he does indeed bless us. The story over here is a story of people who know the power of the Jews and hate them for it, and try to find a way to destroy them. Which means Bilam is willing to do genocide. Bilam is willing to curse and to destroy an entire people. It doesn't bother him. He's got a payday waiting for him. And as all of this transpires, the Jews are on their side, sitting in their beautiful camps, having no clue as to the threat which is around us. And it seems to be but for the merit of Avraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov, we wouldn't really be protected, but for the grace of God, who looks after us and protects us and turns those who try to curse us into blessings. If it weren't for this, it's scary to think about what would happen to us. The sad part of the story, as perhaps so much of history, It's been the other children of Abraham who've had some kind of jealousy or hatred, could not accept that which God promised to the Jewish people really belongs to the Jewish people. And now we see the antecedents to that sitting right in front of us. Children of Abraham, unable to accept the word of God. But thank God that God looks after the children of Abraham, specifically the children of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and protects us.